one of the most uncomfortable sensations that gangstalking gives you is a sensation that everyone is watching everything that you do. It creates this unsettling narrative that everyone knows everything about you. But in reality, they only know what changed you, because that's typically, well, in the first place, they kind of build themselves indirectly things for you to be shamed about, and anything else that happens to you that can produce you shame, aside from anything that they produce, is a bonus. Now, it is, the toughest thing is literally not, well, being uncomfortable 24/7 because you feel like they're watching. For a while, I was convinced that they had somehow access to what was on the screen of my phone. And I will tell you in a later video how I came to this conclusion. But I mean, now I know that it was a delusion. It was a part of the narrative that I myself built. And it's what it does is that you are incredibly uncomfortable in doing anything that you do, because you feel that they're watching everything, especially if you want to do something that is can be seen like in a manner that could be, I guess, that can be used against you, such as, let's say that you're a straight man and that you like, I don't know, Chinese girls dressed in college clothes, whatever. Then if you're getting gang stalked, and one of them somehow gets a glimpse of you having that niche of a sexual arousal, they're gonna be, saying things like girls, college, and then the thing is that to someone who isn't you will have absolutely no meaning. But if you're getting gang stalked and you already have the narrative that everything you do is being watched, and some of them just happens to throw out one of those words, and if you're connected, you're gonna pick up on those things, and even though they might not even purposely throw those words out, you're gonna perceive it as such. And every day you're gonna be catching things like that, and it's gonna perpetuate the illusion that they know everything about you, especially the things that cause you shame. So yeah, I think I already covered like the most important aspects of gang stalking, as in the things that can help someone get out of it and understand it. So I think I'm gonna move a little bit away from the technicalities, and I'm gonna start covering more the aspect of the mind, reprogramming, more of the mental aspects of it that have nothing to do with what gang stalkers do. So, well, in conclusion to the technicalities of gang stalking, I'm just gonna do an overview of what they do and trying to encompass as much of it and the illusion that it causes. So when everyone around you starts doing that, you're gonna have the impression that everyone is following you, And the thing is that when someone is in their car and they do this, that's actually very common. And again, you're not gonna think anything of it if you're not getting gang stalked. But when you're getting gang stalked, and that's what they do to tell that they're there, and then you suddenly just glimpse towards a car and they do that, you will subconsciously start assuming that they're part of the gang stalking team, stalking you. That's just how it is. You're gonna be looking at the rearview mirror and you're gonna see them doing that. And notice, you're gonna start paying attention to see, like, you're gonna start actively looking for that sign, and you're gonna find it, because you're gonna be looking for something that you're convinced that exists. And whenever you look for evidence of something, one way or another, you're gonna be able to find some type of evidence. How to, even though they're doing the gang stalking sign like that around you, just know that a lot of the times it's going to be just something that happened to you before that you didn't pay attention to. After you're getting sensitized to the headlights, you're going to actively start looking for headlights that are on during the daytime. And you're going to start assuming that they're gang stalkers. And the truth of the matter is that you never paid attention to them. But those lights have always been there. Now, the illusion of gang stalkers knowing what you're thinking is done very simple. So whenever you start actively looking out for the facial expressions of them, all they do is they're going to be like, and they have the narrative. So when they think that you're having thoughts that you shouldn't supposed to, they're going to be really reoccurring, because they're pushing these thoughts on you. And whenever you have them, you're going to be looking out to see if they react to them. But the only thing that they're doing is that they are reacting to you looking out for a reaction. That's it. They don't really know what you're thinking. You tell them what you're thinking by looking at them for their reactions to you. So don't, as hard as you might want to, and as hard as everything tells you, and even the voices might tell you, you might hear the hallucinations of that. But it's just a hallucination. It's your anticipation. A lot of the hallucinations that you have, if you're hearing voices, is the anticipation of what gang stalkers, how they're going to react. All you have to do to destroy the spell, the illusion, is to stop looking for their reactions. Just stop. Just don't even look at them. Just focus on what you're doing. And whenever you have a thought that for them to react to, just ignore it and keep doing what you're doing, and don't look out for them. Lastly, you have to be aware that it is a shame-based tactic operation. So you can do two things. You can demonstrate by your actions that you are not ashamed of what you thought they had a shame. So like, I'm gonna give you a personal example. So when I was using drugs, I was turned on by men wearing lingerie, and I thought it was hot to dominate, another man. I still think so. And it was something that I was ashamed of, but then I began talking to someone about it, who I knew was a gang stalker, about an experience that I had, of that. And I ended up enjoying it way too much than I ever even thought possible. And guess what? The shame dissipated. And they simply didn't do that anymore. Like, even though they stopped using those words, like they used to say, at least I used to perceive the shame about, again, like I told you in another video, about, you know, when someone would place a product for transmission, that it was called transfix. You know, I would look at it, and, you know, and if I would look at the gangstalker, and if I would look at the gangstalker, they would do the grin. But this is the thing. They didn't know what I was thinking. They didn't know that I was wondering if they placed the transfix in front of me to make fun of me. The only thing that they did is that whenever I looked at them for their reaction, they did the grin. And that's it. And then this is how they start figuring out what shames you, is that when you look out for their expression, they're gonna keep tabs of what was it that they were doing that made you look out for their evil grin, for their narcissistic grin. And they're gonna keep tabs on that. And then when they use that as clues to figure out what it is that you feel shame of. That's how it works. So the grin is only that. It's only a grin. It has nothing to do with what you're thinking, but you believe so because they pretend like it does. That's how that goes. So that's just how it is. So now, that's the truth. Now, well, almost lastly, I'm trying to encompass everything that you need to know if you're getting gang-stalked. Now, with time, like one of my subscribers said that not everyone who gets gang-stalked gets the direct energy weapons, and that's true. You need to get gang-stalked hard and for a long time, and they need to produce a lot of anxiety for them to experience that. So if you're feeling the direct energy weapons, the demon, it is because your body is expressing anxiety. If you hear the voices, if you are having involuntary movements, weird unrecognizable sensations, then just know that if you're hearing voices, they are gonna work in tandem with the sensations, and it's gonna build on the narrative of getting gang-stalked. What else? So it is not that everything is together. It is that's just how you are a single unit. So inevitably, everything you think will work together with your body. Now, you can, when the voices talk, you start either using vocalization with your ears, with your throat, or with your tongue, depending on what you focus on. So if you start focusing on your ears while you're hearing voices, you are gonna feel like your ears are little mouths, and you might feel them perk up and then start like moving to what you hear. But in reality, it is just your mind spouting out random thoughts, and then you are making sense of them with your conscious mind. So when the thoughts that are out on the third sphere of thought, the furthest away, once they come in through the wall of your inner self, you start vocalizing it. And now when you keep your focus out of your ears and you focus on your throat, then you will start feeling your throat almost like you had a ghost mouth inside of it talking. That's why people think that it's cool, that it's like sub vocalization, because it feels like if it was sub vocalization, because your throat is like moving like if it was talking what you're hearing. Oh, okay, what else? Um, that's it. Oh, so also when you have a thought, if notice that when if you're having getting there with the gang stalking, whenever you have a thought, your vocal cords are connected to your thoughts. Like you think A, B, C, and you feel like you so vocally are talking, right? But when you're getting gang stalked for so long, that disconnects, and that voice becomes gets separated from your vocal cords, and it's only the voice. But just keep in mind that you can control this. If you tie back down the voice to your throat by focusing on it, you get more control of it. Now, when it's too far away, that's tough, because that means that it's completely disconnected to you, and you're just ranting and talking whatever it is that you have made to think about yourself by the gang stalkers. So it gives the gang stalkers a voice, it quite literally. So everything that you think that the gang stalkers think about you, it manifests in your thoughts, and it can manifest as a single voice, or as if it was many voices. There was a while where I had like tens of voices in my head. Like one of them was like a different person, and I communicated with my dead father, with my mom, with my coworkers. Like it was freaking crazy. And what else? So that, and just it's not voice to school. Even if the voices tell you, it's because you already have that narrative, because you've read that online. Not because that's what it is. If you've never looked online for anything like that, then you're not gonna have that interpretation. You're gonna think that it's just a voice in your head. So it is just you giving gang stalkers power. Okay, I'm exhausted. I think that's all I have to say for today. So just know that we're gonna read a book about someone who is decoding, who is completely under who's drank the juice, the gang stalker juice, and also who thinks that they're using direct energy weapons, that is a government based operation. And we're gonna just go over what they think. We're gonna dispel his delusion, and also we're gonna cover biases, and about how the mind works. So I just posted a video about the structure of the mind. Watch it, because a lot of the things that we're gonna talk about are gonna tie into that. All right, bye.